He's coming. I don't know if he's coming with the financials.
I'm sure
That is
with a
just
wife
too
and two
bad.
daughters that you were not the priority that day. No offense.
We're on.
I'm sure you had better things to do too. Okay, Finance Committee meeting will commence. Any courtesy of the floor? Okay, discussion regarding Article 13 contracts. CMR Construction.
Okay, so the amendment that's in front of you for CMR Construction is related to the Fries Run EWP project that the county was serving as a sponsor on, and the project was entirely funded by NRCS and DEP. During the course of construction, the engineer from NRCS went out to the site and determined that the existing retaining wall that we were trying to repair was more undermined than they thought, and they worked with the contractor to develop a plan to help stabilize that wall that involved pouring an additional concrete footing underneath the existing and installing some additional riprap rock protection to help to minimize the amount of erosion that the wall is experiencing. Both NRCS and DEP have agreed to cover the costs entirely of this change order. So really, I'm just presenting it. It would be a pass-through cost for the county.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand this is a pass-through for us, but still, I think what always bothers me is when we get these bids that come in, we award it to the lowest responsible bidder, and then they come back to us and they want more. I guess my question is, why wasn't this something was this observable when the first bids went out? And if so, why wasn't it part of the bid? How did we miss this?
Well, NRCS is the engineer who designed the project, and they started their design work, because this is all in regards to the flooding that occurred back in August of 2018. Mm-hmm. They started their design work shortly after that flood event, and due to the time constraints to get all the proper agreements in place and for the county to bid it out, there was quite a gap between the design and the actual construction starting. So I feel that some of the erosion problems that were experienced out there did worsen throughout that, from the gap from when the design was completed to when the work was actually started.
Yeah, again, my concern is that did another contractor bid higher and they took this into account, and somebody came in under, didn't, and now are we up to where they might have been? And we've seen that happen before. People come in low to get the bid, and then they come back to us and they say, well, we didn't account for this, that, and the other thing.
Well, we received 2 bids on this project. The other one was astronomical in comparison to the one that we did ultimately award. And I mean, it's really not something where the contractor omitted something and then tried to nickel and dime us for it at the end. It was something that was requested by NRCS specifically that the contractor gave us a price for.
Okay, so the total would not be more than the other bid that we had received?
Not even close.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Motion to move to council?
So moved.
Second? Bill? Thanks. Yeah, Ron's not here, so I need. Carroll Engineering Corporation.
So this contract is to provide the engineering services for a replacement bridge of bridge number 225 located in Upper Mount Bethel. We had to close this bridge in late 2018 due to structural deterioration of the steel grate deck. We did receive a good amount of interest in the engineering portion of the contract. We got 10 proposals in. Based on my review, as well as our bridge superintendents, we both feel confident that Carroll's proposal meets all the requirements in terms of the permitting and design. And it also came in as the cheapest proposal that we received in terms of a full replacement. So based on those reasons, I'm recommending that it be awarded to Carroll Engineering.
Will they handle the easements as well and all the other
They
little
will,
details?
they will prepare the right-of-way plans, and the county will acquire any easements that may be required. I think in this case, we are pretty lucky in that there's only 2 parcels that border the bridge, and they're both owned by, I believe it's the Portland Borough Water Authority. So I would expect that they would be, willing to cooperate with us.
Question?
Yeah, I guess, certainly I'm supportive of this, but my question is, well, do we have a timeline to act and/or the funding to actually replace the bridge? Because, I've seen before where we spent money on architectural and engineering, and we turn around and we don't repair or replace the bridge. So if we award this, is there a plan in next year's budget to follow through and replace the bridge? And do you know any idea what it might cost?
Yes, we would have the funding available. I believe we're using either, I think it's Act 89 funding for the design and planned construction. So there would be sufficient amount in our budget, and we would certainly show that as a projected expense for the 2021 budget.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Motion to move forward?
So moved. Second.
Okay. Vision Technologies? Server refresh?
This is the second round of server refresh that we do. Many of you probably saw the emails related to quarterly maintenance. So this is the servers for the next round of maintenance. It's already in the budget.
Questions?
Yeah, can you give me an overview of what they're actually gonna do?
So when they do their quarterly maintenance, basically they look at the servers, they look at their age, they determine the workload that's on each server, when they need to be replaced. These are all, so the dates of every piece of equipment we purchase is kept. And then as they start to age out, or they could potentially become a failing server, they're swapped off for a new server. We destroy all the hard drives, and then any of the other equipment that we can get scrap value for. Vision does very well to get the scrap value, so we get checks constantly for that.
So annually,
This
is an annual upgrade,
well, this is 4 times a year.
4 times a year?
Yeah,
Okay.
so the cost for the servers differ like each time, but as the dates come up and all that other stuff, they usually
Some are
swap
bigger.
them out during quarterly maintenance, yeah. Or sooner if needs be.
Thank you.
Any other question? Motion to move forward to council?
So moved.
Second.
Done. Review of controller reports.
Okay. Since our last appearance before council, my office released 3 hotel room rental tax audits, and the jail commissionary and inmate telephone, and the recorder of deeds agency fund. In these audits, we test for errors and reporting and notify hotel operators, this is for the hotels, of any tax overpaid or due to the county. For the Tuscarora Inn, all calculations were correct and all remittance forms were submitted. For the non-site visits, the revenue and taxes appear to be reasonable stated. For the Sayre Mansion, the operator couldn't provide us the April 2018 exemption documentation.
Just
So,
a minute.
I'm sorry.
I don't have the Tuscarora.
It
It's
was,
adjacent, or it's joined to the other paper that. The one before, the Vision Technologies.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no worry.
You have it?
stapled to the back of it.
If you don't, I have my copies.
Yeah.
Got it,
It's just
thank you.
It was a stapling error.
Continue?
Sorry.
No problem. For the Sayre Mansion, the operator couldn't provide us the April 2018 exemption documentation. So based on the findings, the Sayre Mansion owes the county the amount of $117.51. This amount is not yet received by the county. I confirmed it. I called revenue and it's not received yet, but it will. In regards of the, any questions on the hotel tax returns? For the jail, commissionery, and inmate telephone, the inmates were charged the correct amount, and they are also signing the order slip, and the charges are in compliance with the FCC guidelines. For the recorder of deeds, any questions on the jail? For the recorder of deeds, the date of the last manual was 2009. Okay,
One
I'm sorry,
question.
Lori, go ahead.
Under number 3, the grievance resolution, it says the grievance reports are not provided by Keefe to the jail, therefore grievances are not monitored. So then how do the grievances get resolved if they're not reporting?
I will get back to you on this.
All right. Well, just because that's a big,
That's okay.
commissary's a big stink. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. For the recorder of deeds, the date of the last manual was 2009. Numerous changes, they were handwritten. The office don't have the time, was based on the interviews we had, the office don't have the time to devote to keep up of the manual policies and procedures needs to be updated regularly to accurately represent current office procedures and ongoing training for the staff. So this really needs, our recommendation is really need to be worked on.
2009, is that correct?
Since 2009, wherever updates, they were handwritten. Any questions?
Do they have any sense of how long it will take them to complete the update?
That's no answer on that.
Did they say they were going to do the update?
Well, again, the answer was that the office don't have the time to devote to the upkeep.
That's what he just said, you don't have the time.
Where is that?
So part of the issue with, they do review the policies and procedures each year in that office. I helped, when I was the controller, to create the policies and procedures for deeds in 2009. Actually, we advised on that, they wrote them. The issue right now is the office is being turned upside down with moving books, as you guys approved the last time. They're moving desks, and they're still having to do all their regular duties. So this audit report came right at that particular time. So I know the controller's office is going to follow up diligently. I'm going to push the staff members as much as I can to get that done. But hopefully, once everything settles down in the office, they know like what spaces they're going to be in, and when their computers are all moved, we'll be able to get back to that regular cycle. They're also now down one person in the office who just retired. So that was all, it's kind of like the perfect storm there, just so you're aware.
Okay. Lord,
Yes, sir.
it's 11 years.
It is, but they do review them each year. They haven't been rewritten or undergone a revision since 2009. There hasn't been a need for it. And they still follow all the state laws and guidelines.
But still 11 years.
So wait, you're saying there's only one person working in the office?
No.
Down
There's
one person.
There's
Okay.
several people that work in the office. There are 2 people responsible for the policies and procedures. They are down one person, though.
Has that position been posted?
It will be.
So I guess the question again is, what is a reasonable timeline for completion of, given all the things you just said?
So the controller's office does 6-month follow-up. I will assure you that they will see some sort of progress in the next follow-up. And completion, I would hope, would be in the second 6-month follow-up for this audit. That's my goal anyway, for the office.
So that would be a year.
That's reasonable. Since it's 11 years, that's reasonable.
And there may not be a major rewrite required.
Any comments or?
Not on this.
Okay.
Oh, and the commissary, just so you're aware, Lori, there's a contractual, since it's a third-party transaction, the county is not involved in that transaction. When there is a grievance, it is between the person paying the commissary and the company. It may not even be the inmate. It might
Right,
be a
could be
relative
family.
of the inmate or whatever. We're not able to see that. That's
Okay.
part of the contract.
But that's understood within the prison, right?
Correct.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Anything else for the?
Just real quickly, Steve, Q4 financials, you promised I would get them on Valentine's Day, and you stood me up.
Sorry. We just finished the roll today. Mary Alice is putting the reports together. You will have them soon. We need to make sure we close the books for the external auditors, just so their timetable is still able to be met.
Okay.
So,
Okay. With that, we can adjourn. You want a 5-minute break? Okay. 5-minute break.